This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
The After Party live on a Travel Tuesday. Hello to you. Thank you for hanging out. Thanks for being here. Hope you had a good time on the Mark Thompson Show. The David K. Johnston Tuesday is always a great one. And tomorrow on the show, John Rothman joins. So that's going to be fun as well. I miss seeing him every day at KGO. So at least seeing him once a week online, I get my my John Rothman fix in. I'm glad to see you here as well. Happy belated birthday to Heather. Yesterday was the real day. So I hope she had a great day celebrating. Wes is painting or printing a Christmas leg lamp at the moment. It's funny. Both Wes and I bought the leg lamp as a gift for our sisters. So we had fun talking about that over the holiday break. Oh, it's funny. In the 1970s, KGO sports director Greg Jordan sought tacky souvenirs from colleagues on vacation and snow globes rated very high. That's funny. I did not know that, Katie. That's a great chunk of KGO history. I love it. Wes says, YouTube won't let me take the word warm off my name for 4 more days because they limit the number of times you can change it. That's funny. I kind of like Wes's warm though, because you are in Florida. I know why you did it, but it's still funny. I'm loving the holiday emojis. Very cute, Tammy. Thank you for that. And hello to you too, Sandy and Liz and Tammy and Be Aware. Howdy to you, Be Aware. Thank you guys for hanging out. Let's get to the first story about the snow globes. This is quite a collection. It would take a long time to amass this type of snow globe collection that you need all of these bookcases or display cases. It looks like a holiday store in there, does it not? I think so. Very festive. Somebody has the holiday spirit. It's a lot of snow globes, that's for sure. This is a new Guinness World Record. This man from Germany has collected 11,000 different snow globes. There are no repeats in his collection. He has the world record, the Guinness World Record, already when his collection hit 6,100 in 2002. But now he has outdone himself, and the collection is at 11,000 snow globes. His name is Joseph Cardinal. He's broken his own record. He lives in Nuremberg, and he is confirming he now owns 11,000 snow globes. He's been collecting these things since 1994. The oldest one he's got was made in Paris in 1889, and it's an Eiffel Tower themed snow globe. So that's pretty cool. He has some other unique ones. One shaped like a Coca-Cola phone. One with the sinking of the Titanic. One with Santa Claus flying a helicopter. He's got snow globes with characters and locations from Star Wars and Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. What drew him to the snow globe life? Joseph says, I love the romance of snow globes and how beautiful they are when you shake them up and the snow falls down. People love snow globes as they encapsulate a perfect world, obviously one that is not realistic, and that is why we gravitate toward them. There is something magical about a snow globe. Yeah, that's 11,000 snow globes. Can you imagine? Well, you know what he's getting for Christmas. More snow globes. Speaking of really cool holiday-related things to share, we have, yesterday we talked about, it's gonna leave. I'm at a paywall. Yesterday we talked about some of the cool things that you can do in different, regions for the holidays. Like we visited the Christmas caves, and there was a really good article in the local paper with beautiful pictures about the Petaluma lighted boat parade. I happened downtown with Jacob because we had to run an evening errand, and got didn't realize it was last that night, and it was packed. I mean, thousands of people lining the Petaluma River, and I'll show you some video. This is some video from the local paper, and I just thought, bring a little holiday spirit and flair. Might as well check it out together. And here is, oopsies, my apologies. Here is what it looks like. I don't know if you can see. Nope. There it is. The reflection of the lights on the water, really beautiful. And there were all kinds of characters on the boat. Some boats had Santa, some had the snowman, some had the Grinch. It's kind of really festive. And some of the boats come from, make the trek all the way up the slough, up the river. They have to open the drawbridge for these boats to come up. But you can see all the people on the sides lining the sides of the river. It's kind of a cool event. I know they have lighted boat parades in Sausalito. Let's see if I can get that. No, I can't. Yes, I can. They have these lighted boat parades in other, communities that are on the waterfront. But I just thought you could look at the video or the pictures, get a little holiday spirit going. But I look at, you can see the way the lights shine on the water. It's beautiful, really beautiful and very festive. So you can see them. Look at all the people. It's crazy how many people were out there. And it's now become kind of a bit of a spectacle where you've got vendors selling, light up toys for kids on the side of the roadway. And so it's grown and grown over the years, and now it's turned into quite an event. But the community of Petaluma also uses the river, incorporates the river, I should say, into other celebrations. And when Santa comes to Petaluma at the beginning of December, Santa arrives on the Petaluma River via a tugboat, and there's another crowd that gathers for that. So just wanted to share that a little bit. All right, let's move forward. We're off from the holidays and we are on to the island of Bermuda. This is fascinating. Did you know that the island of Bermuda appears to float? There might be a never before seen giant structure underneath Bermuda. Who knew? Seismologists, they made this fascinating discovery about what is underneath this island. And they think it's a plume of rocks that's never been seen before that makes this island appear to float in the middle of the ocean. They've published a paper on it last month in the journal Geophysical Research Letters. The normal situation with this is that volcanic islands are lifted by magma plumes. They push the crust of the earth up. But Bermuda is different because the volcanoes that underpinned it have not been active for millions of years. It's a mass that measures more than 12 miles thick. It's less dense than other layers of rock surrounding it, the oceanic crust above it, and the upper mantle below it. This is according to this paper. The structure's thickness has never been seen anywhere else in the world. You could say there's never been anything like it. The researchers used recordings of large earthquakes around the world from a seismic station in Bermuda to get an image of the Earth's layers about 31 miles below Bermuda. Analysis then of places where seismic waves suddenly changed revealed this very thick layer of rock. So they say typically what would be layered below the oceanic crust is this rigid upper mantle. It's kind of a rocky shell. But below Bermuda, There's a unique layer that's developed between the upper mantle and the oceanic crust, but still within the tectonic plate that the islands sit above. And the existence of it may explain why Bermuda didn't sink after its volcanoes shut down tens of millions of years ago. The last eruption from this volcano happened about 30 million years ago. And that's when this mantle rock may have been injected into the crust. And researchers say when the new layer solidified, it created this raft like structure that raised the ocean floor by more than 1,600 feet. And that's why Bermuda appears to float in the middle of the ocean. It's interesting. All right, we've got some animals to talk about. And this one really I wanted to mention because I find the picture so interesting. This is a hornbill bird that looks like he's got a little hair tie in his mouth. And he broke free. But look at that bird. Look at the eyes and the coloring. Again, this is the hornbill. And this hornbill escaped from the Living Desert Zoo in the Palm Desert, Living Desert Zoo and Gardens. They were trying to transfer this hornbill, which is an exotic bird native to Africa, to a holding area on Thursday. But this hornbill did not want to go. And so it escaped, was spotted. His name is Pili, P-I-L-I, Pili. Pili was spotted Monday at the Reserve Club, which is a fancy country club right near the zoo in the mountain foothills of Indian Wells, California. So they sent animal care staff out there to bring Pili back, and they safely brought him home. The CEO of the Living Desert Zoo says, "I'm happy to report the bird appears healthy and uninjured following his brief adventure. This is an 8-year-old male hornbill now under vet evaluation, and then will be placed with his habitat and his female that he has there named Mabel, the pair." And they say they're doing a review of the escape to make sure that future incidents like this don't happen. All's well that ends well. And really, I just wanted to show you the picture of Billy because I think what a great shot. What an interesting, beautiful looking creature. I have another interesting story about animals, and this one involves the tears of the moose. It appears they are delicious and nutritious. Scientists saw this picture from a wildlife cam and thought, almost looks like this moose has a second set of eyeballs. And then they watched the video from this trail camera in Vermont, and they saw that what is underneath the moose's eyes are moths, and the moths are drinking the tears of the moose. This is something that happens in nature, the drinking of other creatures' tears. It's called lacrophagy. Lacrophagy. Since I didn't know the word, you may not either, so I will put it at the bottom of the screen so you can see how it's spelled. Lacrophagy. See, I'm priming you for Trivia Thursday ahead of time. This one might show up. There's the word lacrophagy. I think I'm saying it right. For people just listening on the podcast, Lachryphagy, lacrophagy. And this is something, again, that happens in nature. The folks that spotted this situation from the University of Vermont in the Environmental Science Department, they were flipping through more photos of the sequence of this moose, and they saw these moths sipping the tears straight from the eyes of this moose. So they know that this happens in other types of animals, but this is the first documented evidence of moths drinking moose tears. They wrote a paper about it. It was published November 20th in the journal Ecosphere. The pictures were captured in June in the Green Mountain National Forest. And the researchers were looking at the wildlife there through these cameras as part of a official governmental survey. They have 80 snapshots of these moths fluttering around the head of this moose. They don't specifically show the mouth parts of the moths, but they say the only reason that moths would be doing this and be in this area would be lacrophagy. And they saw a year about a year later after the video, or so this video was captured in June of 2024. So a year later, there was more video captured that showed the same thing, moths hovering around the eyes of a moose. The scientists have previously observed moths, bees, and butterflies feeding on the tears of other animals. They have documented, according to Smithsonian, bees drinking the tears of yellow spotted river turtles in Ecuador, stingless bees harvesting human tears in Thailand, Arabid moths feasting on the tears of ringed kingfishers in Colombia, and Arabid moths slurping the tears of sleeping black-chinned antibirds in Brazil. Most of these incidents happened in subtropical and tropical regions. There's only one other known case of lacrophagy documented outside the tropics. There was a report of a moth eating the tears of a horse in Arkansas. And so it may be more common in the tropics, but now scientists are looking for it in other places. The question is, why do they do it? Why would they want to sip on these tears? It almost sounds like some type of, I don't know, curse or a spell or, some magical thing happening, but they say they don't really know why. They suspect that maybe the moths are seeking out certain nutrients, sodium maybe, during periods where those substances might be harder to find. They could be looking for a protein boost. Maybe the tears serve as a backup to plant nectar. Vertebrate fluids are the main alternative source for obtaining proteins, according to one biologist at the University of Sao Paulo. Still, they say lacrophagy is pretty rare in nature. They still want to learn more about this behavior. What what are the benefits, and what about the tear supplier? How does that work as well? Is it a one-sided relationship? Are there, eye lesions created? Are there health impacts? Like what's going on with this? But it looks like it's possibly a little bit more widespread than we have known before. So, I don't know if you can see that picture very well, but I do have another shot, and I don't know if this is farther away or not, but it's they kind of took a conglomeration of all of these pictures, not all 80 pictures, but several of these pictures. You can see. Look at all the moss circling the head. Yeah, that's a little smaller, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, when my daughter was riding horses out at the horse barn, there's always flies that land on the eyes of the horses, or they're constantly being swatted away. So I maybe maybe that's kind of weird though, right? Um when we talked about the pennies, the very last pennies that would come off of the production line, and it turns out, and how they would be sold and how they would be auctioned off, and it turns out that they did sell for quite a bit of money. Quite a bit of money. I don't want, uh I have my pictures is of, Pennywise, and I don't want that. Um, but the penny, I will just say, without a picture of a penny to tell you about, maybe I'll do this. The origin of money? No? Mm, no. If not a penny, I don't want it. Okay. So, I will tell you that the pennies, the very last pennies, sold for $16.7 million. For this, you get 3 penny. You get the Omega Gold Penny Reserve. My bad. You get the Omega Gold Penny Reserve, Omega Gold Penny Reverse of that. So that's 1 coin. The Omega Circulating Penny, and yeah, that's it. That's what you get. So the auction house sold 232 sets of 3 coins each, featuring a 2025 penny from the Philadelphia Mint, a 24-karat gold penny from the Philadelphia Mint, and a 2025 D penny from the Denver Mint. So for 3 pennies, and they're very nice pennies, they're very new pennies, they're very fancy pennies, and for coin collectors, they're very special pennies. All right. I'm sorry. I had a penny picture problem. Here's my picture of the pennies that you get for $16 million. Here's your 3 pennies that you have. That's it. That's what you get. But they're very important. Each of the coins embossed with the Omega symbol, marking the final run of the coin, first minted in 1793. So they were sold by Stack Bowers Galleries, 232 lots. Each trio of coins sold for an average lot value of $72,000, and the final set, number 232, the very last printed pennies, sold for $800,000. That included the very last circulating pennies from Philadelphia and from Denver, and the final gold Omega penny. The sale was called an extraordinary honor for the auction house. The penny, they said, has withstood 232 years of our nation's history, and it was an honor to continue connecting America through coins. So the total of the penny sets, the 232 penny sets, 16.7 mil. I don't know. It looks like we know the penny has been worth more to print. It cost us more to print than it was worth. The Mint's annual report to Congress reported losing $85.3 million on making pennies for fiscal year 2024. So it was time for the penny to go. It was so wasteful that they thought, we got to just take it out. What I don't know is who gets all the money. I think the government gets the money. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So that's it. Lots of pennies. No more pennies. I guess I would say hold on to pennies, but there's so many out there that I don't think they become valuable. As we spoke about on the Mark Thompson show, because my apologies for losing the ability to speak today. The Powerball jackpot remains in play because nobody won last night. So it's now at $1.25 billion, the jackpot. Next drawing is tomorrow. But there were some winners, some $1 million winners and some $50,000 winners. And this is a story out of Maryland, where this lady sent her husband out to buy a lottery ticket, and the Powerball ticket that he brought home turned out to be a $50,000 winner. This woman said she was having dinner at home when she just had this urge to buy a Powerball ticket. So she sends her husband out to buy one, and he comes back with $20 worth of quick pick tickets, and the very last line ended up matching 4 white balls. This is in the December 8th drawing. 4 white balls will get you 50 grand. She called her husband to share the news. She said, "You need to sit down for this one." She said some of her prize money will go toward taking a family vacation with her husband and her grandchildren. I would hope. there were some $1 million winners, a couple in California, I want to say as well. So we'll see what happens. I don't know how long it goes. As I like to say, it's clearly ready to pop. Although sometimes it seems like, I don't want to say it's rigged, but isn't it weird how these massive jackpots sometimes happen around holidays? Hmm, most peculiar. There is a news story about these massive dinosaur footprints, the biggest dinosaur footprints ever spotted. There they are. Those are some big footprints. I'll give them that. Those are some big boys. The story goes that the dinosaur footprints were found in Bolivia. More than 16,600 footprints left by carnivorous dinosaurs of all different sizes. Some walked, some ran, some swam, have been identified in the Carreras Pampas site inside the Tortoro National Park in central Bolivia. So this is now the home to the world's largest known concentration of dinosaur tracks, specifically theropods. They walked on two legs, they had hollow, thin walled bones, very short forelimbs, and very strong hind legs. There was a study done, 6-year long study of field work carried out by this international team of researchers. And they finally have published their findings in the peer-reviewed scientific journal PLOS ONE. They write the study of this gigantic dinosaur track site is very significant for several reasons. It is the largest known site to date, far exceeding other similar sites in the number of preserved footprints. They have 1,321 theropod trackways, along with hundreds of isolated footprints. There are tail drag marks as well, and more than 1,300 swimming traces. All of the tracks are connected in 9 connected sectors on a single fossil surface that cover about 80,730 square feet. It's about the size of a soccer field. They all belong to bipedal carnivorous dinosaurs and display a wide range of sizes. Some were left by animals up to 33 feet long, others from very small dinosaurs about 12 inches high, like a chicken would be. They say the diversity indicates this area was used by different types of dinosaurs rather than a single species, and that maybe this area was used as a passageway. The trackways show a clear pattern in both directions. There's a coming and a going, suggested repeated movement along the shoreline of an ancient freshwater lake, like a prehistoric highway linking regions of what is now southern Peru with northwestern Argentina. Fossils are scarce in this region, but the footprints, those are plentiful, and they say they allow scientists to reconstruct everyday behavior. From the tracks, they were able to estimate walking speeds, pauses, changes in direction, even swimming attempts. In several areas, the scientists identified footprints left as dinosaurs moved through shallow water, scraping the muddy bottom before rising water levels sealed and preserved their marks. It's unprecedented, the number of footprints they found, and gives them an opportunity to kind of figure out how these animals moved and possibly behaved before their extinction. So they're going to keep doing their field work out there. They say many more footprints could be uncovered in surrounding areas, and that could either even further expand the record of the prehistoric past. Look at those dinosaur footprints. That's pretty cool. All right. It turns out when someone has a heart attack, if they have a loving, caring partner, that could make a difference in the recovery. I know. Who knew? It's all about, I don't know, feeling taken care of and having somebody there with you. Let me get this story. If you have partner support after this type of cardiac event, it could actually improve your heart attack recovery time, which is a big deal. It also shows that if you don't have partner support, that perhaps, you know, it would behoove you to stay with a loved one or someone that could help in this situation, that it could actually improve your outcome. This is a study that was reported today in the Canadian Journal of Cardiology. And they say the support of a beloved partner dramatically can improve recovery for people who've had a heart attack or heart failure or some other type of heart related emergency. And so they recommend that intimate partners be included in cardiac rehab programs to help support patients' heart health. The professors at the University of Ottawa Heart Institute of Canada say we need to start treating the heart and nurture relationships to enhance health behaviors, mental health, and possibly cardiovascular outcomes along with those of heart disease, that it could lead to stronger emotional and social adjustment during patients' recovery and ultimately to better health behaviors as well. They looked at 16 previous studies that involved more than 1,400 cardiac patients and their partners. And they focused their studies, or the studies were focused on couples based programs that involve both partners in recovery and lifestyle changes as well. It's always easier to make a lifestyle change when you have someone doing it with you, right? Holding you accountable. They said the approach focused on the crucial role of the partner in helping a heart patient by maybe cooking heart healthy meals, encouraging regular exercise, making sure medications are taken as directed as well. And the results showed that in 77% of the reviewed studies, patients had better heart health behaviors if they had their partner's participation and support. They didn't talk about how these couples based programs affected the quality of relationship, but they said, the researchers, that sometimes heart disease brings couples closer together. It's a challenge for the relationship and both people in it. They say they've learned over the years cardiac events do not only happen to the patient, but to the couple as a whole. Interventions that include the partner as an active participant and meaningfully address what's happening in patients' relationships, they say ought to be developed and tested with the aim of helping couples better cope with heart disease by enhancing their mental and physical health and the health of their relationship. All true. It's a huge thing when someone has a, say, open heart surgery, some type of cardiac event. I would say definitely affects both people. Let's move to technology now. And this wild story about, I'll call it a dancing robot, but it's really this teeny tiny moving robot. I mean, it's so small. Here it is on the tip of a finger. You see this little dot right in the middle here? That is the robot. It's super cheap to make, costs about a penny to make, back in the days when we had pennies. It's fully programmable, it's autonomous. It's called a microbot. It's cute. This team at the University of Pennsylvania and the University of Michigan built a new generation of record-breaking solar-powered machines. And again, each robot costs only a single penny to manufacture, but they say these robots could help advance everything from nanotechnology manufacturing to medical research. According to the University of Pennsylvania engineer Mark Miskin, this breakthrough ends decades long of a robotics conundrum. He said building robots that operate independently at sizes below 1 millimeter is incredibly difficult. The field has essentially been stuck on this program for 40 years. Not anymore. Miskin and his fellow researchers detail their efforts in the journals Science, Robotics, and also Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. They said the biggest problem with making a fully autonomous robot of this size is a matter of physics. Sizable objects move through the world largely dictated by the forces of inertia and gravity. But the smaller something gets, the more it becomes influenced by surface area factors like viscosity and drag. If you're small enough, pushing on water is like pushing through tar. And that means that appendages can become far too delicate at a micro scale. So they had to really work to solve this issue. And one approach works on an electrical level. So each robot measures about 200 by 300 by 50 micrometers. They're smaller than a grain of salt. And at that size, machines are capable of converting energy from tiny solar panels to an electrical field when placed in a solution. Can you believe that tiny thing does all that? The electricity pushes nearby ions, which then shoves surrounding water molecules to propel this robot. That's what's happening. The machines also don't only move forward and backward. By adjusting the electrical field, each robot can move alone or in complex patterns together, like a school of fish. It's as if they say the robot is a moving river, but the robot is also causing the river to move. So you see how small it is there. I have video. Oh, yes. Check out, this is a close-up of this little thing moving around. I can hardly believe it. Here's what it looks like. The drive and slide sequence. It turns, it slides, it moves all over the place. Remember, this is about the size of a grain of salt. Look at it go. This tiny little microchip. Totally programmable to do what they want. Is that crazy? I think that's pretty cool. So, what are we going to do with this thing? What is it for? What will happen? They say it has all kinds of possible uses. The computer miniaturization is all about space. The smaller the computer, the less available area for power sources, memory, and circuitry. So the key challenge for the electronics is that the solar panels are tiny and they produce only 75 nanowatts of power. That according to researchers at the University of Michigan. It's more than 100,000 times less power than what a smartwatch consumes. They had to design entirely new circuits that operate at low voltages, reducing the robot's power needs by over 1,000 times what they had to do. So it does this wiggle dance. They say it shows that you can put a brain, a sensor, and a motor into something almost too small to see, and you can have it survive and work for months. And once you have that foundation, you can layer all kinds of intelligence and functionality. They say continued improvements and experimentation could result in faster, more complex robots installed with additional sensors that let them maneuver through increasingly difficult environments. So, I'm fascinated by what it could mean and how fast we're developing these things. Here's a story for you guys. Before we do a little travel, I wanted to talk to you about marijuana. I know. The first thing you might think is, where are my weed smokers at, right? It turns out that the most likely people to drive while high are middle-aged adults and seniors. You would think we would know better, right? Come on now. There are some efforts now to stop weed-impaired driving. There's a traffic risk to this. There's a study done, published in the 2026 issue of the journal Drug and Alcohol Dependence, showing that 1 out of 5, or 20%, of people 50 and older who use weed reported that they had driven while high at least once in the past year. In addition, middle-aged adults and seniors who use cannabis daily or nearly daily are 3 times as likely to get behind the wheel after toking compared with those who use weed rarely. These researchers say so much of the effort to reduce driving while high through awareness campaigns is focused on the young people, but the findings actually show it's a cross-generational issue. Lead researcher from the University of Michigan Medical School in Ann Arbor, professor of psychiatry, saying that for the new study, researchers analyzed data from the University of Michigan's National Poll on Healthy Aging, looking at more than 3,300 people 50 and older, including 729 who'd used weed at least once in the last year. And the poll found more than a quarter, 27%, of people 50 to 64 had used weed at least once in the last year, 17% of those 65 and older. And of those who used the weed, 27% said they'd get stoned daily or almost daily. 43% said they used cannabis only once or twice during the last year. Overall, men were 72% more likely than women to drive after using weed products. The poll also asked people why they use weed. More than half, 52%, said they used it to medicate a mood-related or mental health problem. 67% said they used it to help them sleep. Those who used it for mental health reasons were twice as likely to say they'd driven stoned. Researchers say it shows that there is likely a need to help middle-aged adults and seniors understand there are options for treating mental health, mood, or sleep problems that may be more effective than cannabis. I don't know. At the very least, the programs to try to get people to not drive while stoned should be implicated across all ages. The study also indicates that, especially for older people who may be on prescription drugs, that there's potential interactions between weed and prescription drugs that they may not consider as well. All right. It is time for Travel Tuesday. Are we ready to go? Let's go. Everybody, strap in. We're on the way. I went to my aunt and uncle's Christmas party over the weekend and was talking to my neighbor. Her name is Carmen, and she is the most wonderful person. She's just giving and kind. Every Halloween, I have to make sure the very first stop, other than my mom's house, is Carmen's house, because she always has something special for the kids. She loves to entertain. She's always cooking up something. She's just a wonderful person and friendly and nice. She is originally from Guatemala. And because I don't know much about Guatemala, I thought, well, why don't we take a little trip to Guatemala? It's probably not a place I will ever find myself. And so I wanted to learn a little more about it. And when I started looking at pictures of it, I thought this must be a Travel Tuesday segment. Off we go to Guatemala. I mean, come on. Look at that. That's beautiful. Who knew this was such an amazing place to be? And I have the list of the 13 best things to do in Guatemala. From volcanoes to lazy beaches, you can walk through ancient history and speak with people who share the lineage of those who lived in ancient temples. And here we go. It's called the Land of the Eternal Spring, Guatemala. The first thing they list is seeing the sunrise at the jungle ruins of Tikal. Look at that. Yes, please. This incredible ruin is a must-see. They say any time of the day or any time of the year, but there's something otherworldly about walking through the darkness, feeling the presence of massive structures as you approach with only flashlights, ascending the stairways and sitting quietly at the top, as the Maya did, waiting for the sun to rise. This, by the way, written by Lonely Planet. Whether it comes as a thin gray light behind the clouds or a brilliant deity in the weather gods, it's always spectacular. Arriving early lets you wander the rest of the site before it gets too hot and before the bus tours show up. If you recognize Tikal as a Star Wars fan, it was the rebel base on Yavin 4 toward the end of A New Hope. So if it looks familiar, that's why. Number 1, seeing the sunrise at the jungle ruins of Tikal. It does sound pretty fun. Number 2 on the list, confronting the fuego's fury from a volcan Acatenango. Okay, this looks really cool. This is checking out this volcano. And look how cool it is. Look at people camping right up there, right near it. It's a hike not for amateurs, but it's got some of Guatemala's most iconic volcano views. You can do it as a one-day trip or as an overnight trip. Starts with a steep climb that keeps on getting steeper. The summit is 3,976 meters. It is the third highest in Central America. But as hard as the hike is, the views from the top are unparalleled. You're very, very close to Volcan de Fuego, which continuously, they say, burps fire through the day and the night. It is, they say, doable in a day, but you'll be hurting for weeks afterwards. So it's best to opt for the overnight option in this case. It's really cool. They do say that you may be offered to trek across the saddle to Fuego itself, and that is not recommended. It takes you within the death zone if a large eruption should occur. So perhaps no. But you can see this at night from afar. Said to be incredibly beautiful. Number 3 on the list is using a backstrap loom in San Pedro de la Laguna. And they have a bunch of these different options. I was looking at tours that you could take if you wanted to take. And you can go and create on looms these beautiful tapestries. They'll show you how to do it too. They have famed textiles in Guatemala. They are intricate with colorful designs. They're part of a tradition that has been going on for hundreds of years there. You can take a class at a women's weaving collective like Atitlan Women Weavers in San Pedro de la Laguna on a peninsula at the base of the volcano of the same name. How cool would it be to weave fabric like women of old times at the base of a volcano? You learn different forms of natural dyes, bark, even bugs used in some of the dyes. Choose your thread colors, and then you can just sit down and make a big scarf. If you don't want to invest the hours that you need to learn to weave, they say you can also pick up some great souvenirs and support a very worthy cause by getting a few things at the Weaver's gift shop there as well. Number 4 on the list is to watch the dance of the venado in Excella. This is a place, it's one of these places that he who shall not be named would probably call it an S-hole city. At first glance, Excella looks dusty and maybe dirty. And then if you really start looking into the pictures, you see the vibrancy of the people there and the food and the charm and the character. It's Excella. Xela is the name of this community, where they have these festivals, including this annual Dance of the Venado. Every year is held on January 1st, and it fills the streets of this town called Excella, Xela. There are costumed dancers. They have these elaborate costumes. Some are dressed as monkeys or deer. Their faces are obscured by masks. The dancers will sometimes serenade you, shake and twirl in front of you. And the performance has a lot of maracas, fireworks, floats, marching bands. It's a big to-do. How about this one? Making your own chocolate bar in Antigua, which, by the way, I was looking at Excella and it, I'll probably never make it there, but it just looks like an interesting place to visit. A place that you might have preconceived notions about, and then get there and realize that you learn so much about people, and you come away with a different perspective. At least that's what it looks like to me. So Excella is the name of it, just in case you're ever up that way, down that way. But I digress. On to your own chocolate making experience, which, I think sounds pretty fun. I've been to wineries to help bottle wine and help in the harvesting process, and that's pretty fun. So learning how to make your own chocolate, yeah, that sounds pretty fun as well. They say it's a lot more than a guilty pleasure. That chocolate here in Guatemala was once associated with royalty and called the food of the gods. I must be a god. Maybe that's why I like chocolate so much. At the Choco Museo in Antigua, you can unravel the mysteries of chocolate with a 2-hour workshop. And, more importantly, taste your way through as you learn everything there is to know about chocolate and leave with a couple of your own bars that you have created. You do have to reserve this one ahead of time. They have classes in both English and in Spanish. They hold them several times a day. So that looks pretty fun. But I think that, you can't go to Guatemala without a trip to the ocean and perhaps a surfing lesson. Gotta do it. Let's go check out the coast. It's so pretty. Here's a little picture of the coastline in Guatemala. Look at that. Those trees are really cool too. This is El Paredon. It is a tiny town on the coast southwest of Guatemala City, right between the shoreline and the sugarcane fields. Some of Guatemala's best breaks are here at this coast. And they have some shiny black sand beaches, which do get really hot, so you got to wear your flip-flops. Good sunbathing there. You can rent a surfboard, grab some surf wax, paddle out onto the great waves. Could be suitable for beginners in some cases, in some, conditions. Other times, experts only. So you've got to check in with the surf shops before you head out to figure out what kind of day it is. But it's a great beach day. You're going to need some sunscreen. Um, they do give you a tip here. If you're looking for a little coffee shop, maybe a little refreshment, they say the best place to go is called Champerico. It's where all the locals head for a little coffee. The next one is the town of Livingston. It's a coastal town and will really give you a taste of Caribbean life. The pace really slows down in Livingston. There's a Garifuna culture, which is found in everything from food to dancing. The people there were living on St. Vincent and were forced to immigrate to Roatan, Honduras, and ultimately spread to other countries like Guatemala and Belize. So there are all these little communities along the Caribbean Sea. They say experiencing the difference on a walking tour around Livingston, attending an event with the De Basse, one of several Garifuna cultural centers. You can listen to music, learn Garifuna dancing, try traditional clothes, sample their traditional foods. Something different to do. Livingston, Guatemala. I have a website on that to show you, just because it's interesting. Let me take this away. Sorry, I have to do some. I need to be more of a StreamYard ninja than I am. Here's the website. Debasse. Look at the, if I can make it bigger. Look how pretty and how welcoming people in this culture are. Livingston, Guatemala. Welcome to Debasse. It holds deep significance in the Garifuna culture, referring to the thatched roof sheds along the beach where fishermen protect their boats, their most valuable assets for feeding their families and their livelihoods. Just as those sheds safeguarded boats, De Basse today protect and preserve the invaluable wealth of Garifuna heritage. They say it's only been open for a short time, but it's already enriched many visitors with cultural experiences. So, there it is. These people are descendants of West African, Arawak, and Carib peoples who settled in the Caribbean. It has now UNESCO recognition. They have their own language, a blended language, cultural locations, drumming and dance, traditional foods, including hadoot, mashed plantains with coconut fish stew, and tapado, seafood with root vegetable stew. Vibrant colors used in the clothings. They're the only Afro-Indigenous culture with their own official flag, symbolizing their resilience, heritage, and identity. So, yeah, you go check it out. I don't know. That's kind of always interesting to learn about something like that. Next on the list. Where are we going? Uh-oh. I lost my list. Oh, no. All right, we've done our Garifuna. And we are next headed to roasting marshmallows over hot lava at Volcan Pacaya. I don't know about the whole volcano marshmallow thing. I know my son would be like, yes, let's do it. It reminds me when I was on the big island of Hawaii on my honeymoon, and there were people sticking forks in lava and twirling it and then selling it on the side of the roadway. Here's people headed up to roast marshmallows up on this volcano. You know what? If it's on the Lonely Planet list, I think we might have to just go ahead and do it, right? Can't be all bad. No. All right. They say that Volcan Pacaya, about an hour from Antigua, started erupting again in early 2021. And much of the lava flow there is cooled, but there are still pockets that are warm enough to roast marshmallows, or you could even make pizza. The trick is to go up with a guide. The guide will take you to the right spots and provide the marshmallows and the roasting sticks. You'll purchase the pizza on your own. They say if you're not into hiking, you could take a mule up to Volcan Playa to get to the marshmallow roasting lava event. They do say don't mess around on fresh lava, that it's sharp as glass. Got to wear your sturdy hiking boots and be really careful as you're walking around. One fall, they said, would be like hitting a giant cheese grater. So, yeah, no thanks. Mm-mm. Another thing on the list involves this incredible flower market. I mean, so beautiful. But now you can say you've roasted marshmallows on a volcano, right? I mean, never thought this show would get you anywhere. And look at that. But look at this. This has got to smell so amazing. Look at this beautiful flower market. Incredible. It is Flores, Flores, Flores. It's a tiny island near the south shore of Lago Petzenitza, and it's where the great Maya civilization fell. The Spanish captured the last Maya leader and rowed across the lake in a galleon. This is a beautiful area with panoramic views, sunbathing, rope swings. There's a cocktail rooftop bar where you can watch the sunset. Really, really beautiful. You can also shop in the Chichicastenango market with color and noise and commotion and scents and smells. People at the market, they say, will amaze you. Everything here, from beans to coffee to vegetables to meats to poultry, hot meals, clothing, musical instruments, souvenirs. The market opened twice a week, Thursdays and Sundays. And you can take a market tour as well. So that sounds pretty fun. You can hit the dance floor in Guatemala City because clubbing is a huge pastime. Friday and Saturday nights, big dancing nights, especially in Zona 1. But other districts are now rising in the dance market, you could say. Zona 10, Zona Viva. There are dance floors and lounges and clubs that are open most of the night. How about this? Splashing in the azure pools. I'll splash here. I think this looks great. Splashing in the azure pools of Samuk Champe. It's this bizarre geological formation that allows azure pools to exist in limestone pockets that span a rushing river beneath them. It's really, really interesting. We've definitely never seen anything quite like this. So check it out. I could spend a day here picnicking, hanging out with you guys, swimming. The way to get here involves climbing a steep path to a lookout. And that's where you strip down to your swimsuit. And then you can leap from a swing for a swim, or you can roll up your pant legs and wade around in the warm water. It's also a wild four-wheel drive ride up and down the roads that seem too steep to be passable. So it's kind of harrowing getting to this place. And it's possible to go spelunking nearby because there are some interesting caves here. Samuk Champe. Again, it's this really bizarre geological formation that allows these tranquil azure pools to exist in these limestone pockets here with a rushing river right beneath them. That is so pretty. And last on the list is checking out the birds, little bird watching. Quetzals. Birder and non-birders alike can appreciate what it means to see a resplendent quetzal one of the world's most gaudy, spectacular, resplendent birds. When they're breeding, they have this plumage from March to June, and the male birds are a bright iridescent green with a red belly and long plumes on their tails that glitter and glint as they fly. And they say seeing one is quite a stunning sight. Once these birds were very common throughout Central America, and now they're found in just a few places. And one of them is Biotopo del Quetzal, where you can see these quetzals. They are beautiful to see. They have guides that will help you try to spot one in these natural habitats. I'll show you this bird. It's a really beautiful bird. Hold on, I have it. He's worth seeing. He's cute. To take my pools away. There he is. Look at that bird. I could spend a day looking for that bird. They're beautiful. Look at that. Green on top, kind of with a little fuzzy head and a red breast. They're tiny, tinier than I thought they would be. They'll give you birding tips, and if you go out in as the sun is rising, they'll help you try to spot them on the volcano slopes. They're easiest to spot when they're feeding off the fruits of the aguacatillo tree. And depending on the location, this can be late or early in the year. So if you don't get lucky and see one the first time, they say go back, because you'll probably see one the second time. So there you go. There's our little trip to Guatemala. I feel like I know more about this place. Thanks for going with me. And that is Travel Tuesday. And I know I'm way over. So sorry to keep you guys so long. I will say thank you so much to everyone who has contributed to this show in various ways. Really appreciate it. Whether it's sending in stories or ideas, you guys always give me the passion to keep going. So thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who contributes financially to the After Party Live as well. Most recently on the show's PayPal, that would be Wes, who throws in $5.65 today. Woohoo! Thank you, Wes. Kim N with a contribution. Scott R, Yvonne B. Thank you so much, you guys, for helping out. I really, 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 really appreciate that. Until we meet again, please have the very best rest of your day. And I'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. on The Mark Thompson Show. For now, bye-bye.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
We'll all be thinking really good thoughts for you, Phineas.